Hey doing, legends. I'm going to try and do as many of these as possible throughout the season here. Might jumble a few together if I don't have the time. But first game is in the books and it was so lopsided. It was wild. Turns out if you played a lot of Heat players, if you're thinking 5+, I think was a big winner in this one. I personally ended up with 4, bringing Nisa in late. I ended up changing Jai Richardson to Nisa in this one. So it worked out okay. Obviously didn't get to bat, but a couple of wickets helped him out in that one. No economy rate bonus. He was one of the only guys that kind of got hit around. But yeah, it worked out solidly in this one to start. With the batting for the Heat, it was an absolutely dominant performance by Colin Munro, 99 off 61. If you didn't start with him, it is super sad because obviously that 134 is wild. In my first iteration of making my Big Bash squad, I did have Colin Munro as captain, but I didn't end up doing that, and I had him as vice until I brought Nisa in and chucked Nisa as the vice captain. So it happens, but very, very happy to be owning Colin Munro in this one here. Khawaja and Labuschagne both did their job. What that didn't allow, though, is for some batting for guys like Paul Walter, Michael Nisa, Bartlett, Johnson, these types of guys that a lot of people had as well, just to get that potential extra points there. But Sam Billings was doing super well there, 18 off 10. Very unfortunate that he didn't get that extra 2 runs and got caught there. Very, very annoying for us owners of him, because that actually, if he got a 2 there, if he got out in the next few balls, he would have picked up plenty of extra points, and instead of getting the 28 for this game, he would have ended up in the 50s very, very comfortably, unfortunately for him and his owners in that one. The bowling side for the Stars wasn't amazing at all. Ollie Stone was looking fairly good after his 2 overs, but his economy rate ended up at 9.5 with no wickets there in that one. Obviously, guys, the dot balls is pretty important in this one as well, so just looking at that. In this one, surprisingly enough, Maxwell bowled 3 overs and still ended up with 7 dot balls, but got hit for 44 and a big economy rate in that one. 1 wicket obviously was helpful. For anyone who picked up Coulter Nile, he unfortunately picked up a bit of a calf complaint, but still finished out the 4 overs, didn't get the economy rate bonus, and none of the bowlers did in this one. Main issue here really is if you went with Osama Mir, the 2 overs, none for 20 in this one wasn't the way to go. Unfortunately, picking him at his sort of, fairly decent high price too. So not ideal in that one. Move to the Stars, and as I said, if you went for Heat batsmen and Heat bowlers, you would have won out very much in this one. And the craziness of the score from our man Mitch Swepson, I did have him in my original team. He was on the bench, so I would have had to potentially try and loop him. But in this one, he's 3 for 23. Picked up the little economy rate bonus as well. Just with that last ball, it got him in inside that one there, which worked out well for him, getting that wicket as well, the first ball of that 4th over. For those that own Matt Kuhneman, that worked out pretty solidly. You got the 15 points in bonus, got the 1 wicket there of Stoinis, and obviously a wicket for Walter. So pretty much everyone got involved in it. That last over for Bartlett picked him up, I think, 70 points, which was crazy. And Michael Nisa getting 2 wickets in the first over. Unfortunately, no economy rate bonus, but a lot of dot balls in that one. Pretty much worked out for everyone except Spencer Johnson. He copped a tough over against Glenn Maxwell, but did pick up a wicket in his 2nd over. Same for that with Paul Walter, but just the 1 wicket for him, and the 1 over is a little bit concerning for Walter. You definitely hope that in the 2nd and 3rd game, if they get on for that 2nd one, it seems like the rain is very much there in Adelaide at the moment, that he can pick things up. But again, likely one of those players that he's probably only going to be a 1-week option anyway. I have Kuhneman in my team, that helped out as well, but batting for the Stars wasn't great. Harper, I thought, was off to a nice start, the lucky 4 to start. I thought he had a 2nd one there, but obviously that ended up being the wicket for Nisa. So thankfully that, owning both those guys, at least they get some benefit out of him getting out, but only 4 points for Harper in that one was one of the lows of the game. Stoinis obviously ended up with 12 points, the catch and the 2 runs. Thankful for me, I didn't end up picking Stoinis, but it's very frustrating that, when I saw there that he was going to be batting 5, it wasn't really exciting for me in terms of looking to pick him up. Definitely wasn't the right play. And then he didn't have bowling either, so that hurt even more. We'll see what happens with Coulter Nile and these types of, and Maxwell and these types of players with their potential injuries, as to if he does start to bowl again. Or they've got Harris Ralph to come back, who's probably going to come in and take some overs anyway. So yeah, pretty tough across the board there for any of the batsmen, apart from Glenn Maxwell getting his bonus, which was lovely for him. an extra 25 on that point to go along with his 23 runs and the wicket there. So still end up a good game for Maxwell at his crazy cheap price. Hilton Cartwright came out and did well as well. But again, a guy batting 6, not one we want to be looking at. But yeah, wickets across the board for the Heat guys was awesome. And these are where the scores ended up. So personally, not going with Swepson or Bartlett. We're kind of the only real 2 misses, unfortunately, there. But Munro, 134. Maxwell, the 73. Very happy with Kuhneman. I bought him for a 34 average, and he beat that. Obviously, Nisa, we were hoping for a little bit more from him. Sort of that 50-odd to 60. If he got that one more wicket in that third over, it would have been great. Billings just missed out on that few extra runs, which cost him sort of, so 25 points there. And then Harper was a little bit poor on that front there. But yeah, so my one change, guys, Nisa came in for Jai Richardson. A few decisions need to be made tonight if we're going for Aaron Hardy or Tom Curran. Kind of where my thoughts are at the moment in that Renegades versus Sixers game. But very excited to see what that final team list throws up at us. And also, which selections we're going to take, because I do have a lot of Renegades players. I think we might see Fraser McGurk up fairly high. But yeah, so Stars guys just wasn't the night for him. It was only Maxwell and Cartwright that did any good in that one. And then you kind of, for the most part, got away with some okay scores. Even Spencer Johnson there, 25, 30 for Paul Walter. Not terrible when you're looking at someone like Harper, but hopefully he bounces back and the Stars bounce back in this one. It just wasn't the night for their batters, and he didn't get a catch at all at keeper in this one. So that's our first daily update. Wish you all the best of luck heading into the second game of round 1. Let's see how Smitty goes tonight.